Welcome to the official YouTube channel for the Colin Cowherd podcast. Go on, hit the subscribe button. There you go, right down there. If you want to be among the first to hear my weekly takes, NFL, college football, more, right there. You know, I was thinking about this just as you were talking about Andy Reid, because I really do think Andy has an argument as in that Bill Walsh vein is, I think he really is one of the 3 or 4 seminal great coaches in my lifetime. He's aged so gracefully in terms of his intellect. And he takes, it's almost a joyful experience. He'll text me in the off-season plays. He'll send me a piece of video. He goes, I'm running this. I'm not telling you when, but I'm running it. I mean, he's like a kid.
Awesome. Yeah.
So nobody's ever, of all the 30 for 30s that haven't been made, the one, I think I've told you this before, that's never been made that I would love to see it. Michael Jordan, the Wizard years. What a disaster it was. The players hated him. Nobody's ever made it. People forget what a mess it was. But I imagine Jordan has the ability to stop it, won't talk about it, and others won't badmouth him. But those years disappear into the ether. REM was a band that I loved. And then they went off the rails, in my opinion, and started sounding different, and I never listened to them again. But I still love REM. I don't hold it against them. The greatest actors have been in terrible movies. Marlon Brando was in, 6 or 7 classics and 6 or 7 awful movies. It's never held against him. Yet, with Belichick, I cannot unsee the last 4 years in New England. He is completely tone deaf. He can't draft. It's as if he has no understanding of offense. He can't draft it. He can't develop it. He can't hire it. And I can't get rid of it. I can get rid of Jordan, bad movies. I don't punish actors, directors, stars. I can't unsee what I've seen from Belichick in 4 years. I can't keep him in the Walsh vein. And if Andy reels off a couple more, Andy's better.
This is something you said. You said this for the first time before the Chiefs won last year. I remember it was before. It was when it looked like they really could, but they hadn't yet won. I think it was maybe the week leading up to the Super Bowl. But you started to, I think, kind of soft launch the idea of could Andy Reid become the greatest coach of all time? And when you first said it, I think everyone's immediate reaction is that's ridiculous. Like, no. But what I don't think people recognize, and I'm just going to pull it up real quick, NFL head coaches wins wiki. I don't think people understand where he is right now on the wins list because it is way higher than you think.
Yep.
So he has regular season and postseason combined. So he's 24 plus 258. So he is at 282 total wins. He is 4th all time on that list. All right. He is probably not going to catch Bill, but he is close. He has got a real chance of finishing 3rd all time and passing George Halas, right? On just playoff wins, he could absolutely catch Bill.
Yeah.
Bill's at 31. Andy is at 24.
Isn't that incredible?
That's it. It's incredible. And so it's like, wait a minute. Then the other thing, because I had this graphic for First Things First, we never used it, but it was Pete Carroll, who's obviously in a different class, but Pete Carroll's record with Russell Wilson, without Russell Wilson. And it's like really, 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 really good, not good at all. Belichick with Brady, without Brady. Unbelievable, and then below 500. Andy with Mahomes, without Mahomes. And it's unbelievable, and then it's really damn good.
Yes.
So it is, and Donovan McNabb was good, not great.
He was good.
Mike Vick, post-prison, what I love Michael, was good. He had one great year, but how much of that was because of Andy? Was that, you know what I mean? Andy put his arms around him. Andy helped
Michael
him.
Vick acknowledges it was because of Andy.
Absolutely. Alex Smith, the only section of his career that was highly successful was with Andy. So it's not that he had nobodies at quarterback. I'm not saying that. But he was able to win divisions, win playoff games, go to conference championships, and go to a Super Bowl without a Hall of Fame quarterback. Did all of that. And then the moment he got the Hall of Fame quarterback, instantly, it was the most prolific offense in the history of the league that first year. And so there is something to be said. And
his dexterity, it's like the reason we look at Prince as one of the great musicians. His ability to, classically play multiple instruments. That's why he separates from other even great performers, his dexterity. Andy's ability, conference, division, quarterback, to win everywhere. There is no way to separate Belichick's career other than Brady years, non-Brady years. And those are increasingly not just mediocre. They're getting to be embarrassing, out of touch.
Right. And the other part of it that is just the truth of it, and some people don't like when someone makes this point or I make this point, but the opposite of it, like sometimes the best way to understand if an argument is a legitimate one is imagine if the exact opposite happened, what your feelings would be.
Oh, that's good.
If Tom Brady went to Tampa and they were 3-13 and the next year 4-12 and then he retired, would that be a plus or a minus for Bill's resume? That it would obviously be a plus. Now, it would be a little different because he was older. It'd be like, he got old. But it would be a plus. It'd be like, hey, Tom left there. They had 2 years prior won the Super Bowl. The previous year, they had won 11, 12 games and been in the playoffs and then immediately fell apart. Instead, he left and immediately won the Super Bowl. And the next year, almost won league MVP and was in round 2 of the Super Bowl in a tie game with a minute left. Or round 2 of the playoffs, I should say. So that obviously hurts Bill a bit. Maybe it's not fair, but it is what it is that Tom was able to leave and have the highest success one can have individually and team-wise. Won a Super Bowl, came in second in MVP voting. When Tom left, Bill's team, it went from mediocre to downright awful in a very short period of time. And so that's a part, which is why I thought it was going to be so important for Bill to go coach the Cowboys or the Eagles or the Bills, where he can then even the score to a degree. Because it would then help Bill immensely. If the Cowboys haven't been able to get over the hump for 30 years, he gets there and they do, then it's like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? That was him. He just had problems drafting players the last few years. And so it is at least an interesting idea. And here's the other thing that I would say, and this is why I think the count the rings stuff across sports, this is not a LeBron argument, but it touches it, can be so foolish.
Yes.
The count the rings thing demands that we simply say both Brady and Belichick are the greatest of all time. But those rings are so, you understand what I mean? Like they both have, little Brady now is 7, but let's just say Brady retired right when the Patriots era ended, that he retired. And the count the rings thing demands that Phil and Michael and that these things, but that then it almost creates an extra ring. If I know I'm not describing this properly, but the Brady and Belichick's rings are intertwined, yet they both get 100% credit when compared to other quarterbacks or other coaches. There's no shared credit. And so if we're just doing count the rings, then it has to be you know what I mean? They're both the greatest of all time. When I don't really feel that way. And I don't know which, you can make an argument for who gets more credit, if it's Bill early, Brady late, whatever it is. But is it more accurate to say that like Brady and Belichick between them have 9 rings. That each coaching ring counts for a half, each player ring counts for one, and the real split is like 5-4.